Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Nimeka Rosilla. I'm a healthcare professional. Today is World AIDS Day, so I want to do my YouTube channel today on World AIDS Day. All right, so we've had AIDS in the world community for a very, very long time, and I remember when I was a student nurse. I'm sorry. I remember when I was a student nurse um, back in the 1980s, late 1980s, when we used to have a train at Charing Cross Hospital on the Fulham Palace Road in West London. And we used to have in those days AIDS patients. And what some of the things that I I am now thinking about that we used to do in those days was we had to cover up completely in PPE, pretty much as now. Uh, Perhaps some of you recently had seen what went on with the Ebola epidemic. So during the Ebola epidemic, we had to make sure that every area of our bodies were covered. And that's pretty much the same thing as when back in the early days we used to look after people who had HIV and then consequently went on to develop full-blown AIDS. So it's very much unknown at that time. And when I sit and I think of how many years have gone past and how much we now know of AIDS and how to look after people who have AIDS and what better outcomes, health outcomes that people with HIV and AIDS have today, I just can't believe it because in my own lifetime, on the one hand, very extreme one hand, we were very much afraid of looking after AIDS patients in those days, and we didn't want to touch this, and we had to cover up completely, and so on. And so many people died. In fact, today they say that 63 million people have died from having HIV and then going on to full-blown AIDS and the complications that came with those, with having full-blown AIDS, that is. So that's an awful lot of people. And I remember back then there were so many young people who were admitted in places where I worked. And one of them, in fact, was my colleague, a student nurse like myself, who had fallen ill. So the point of this story is that obviously so many years have passed, a lot of research, a lot of scientific research, a lot of education, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, better medication, better ways of looking after people. And so many things have passed in the intervening years that we now know exactly, more or less, we now know exactly where we stand with AIDS. And as I said before, people are living longer, happier, healthier lives, having AIDS or being HIV positive. So yeah, it's a different world. It really is a different world, and I couldn't today but help think about times past when it was completely, the opposite end. And of course, now we have COVID, and we've recently had a new strain of COVID, which is worrying everyone, and rightly so. And obviously, where people are making governments and countries and people and individuals and organizations are making all the right steps and taking all the right moves so that they don't have this most recent Omicron, I think it's called, this most recent strain of COVID come into their countries and their communities. So people taking precautions, making sure that you're vaccinated, washing your hands, social distancing, wearing a mask, all of those things. But I mean, that was exactly what was going on back then when AIDS came upon us. And obviously, people were told they had all the health information. Where later on, wear a condom, make sure that you do this, make sure you do that. We now know AIDS is not transferred. Having the HIV virus is not transferred by shaking a person's hand, for example. But then it was a big thing, it was a huge thing, and I think that some of these things, we go round in circles with them, don't we, in life, human beings? We go round in circles, and then something new comes up, and we begin to think about that something new, and how it is that we can avoid it, and how it is we can safeguard our community and our own people. So, yeah, so I was thinking about all of this today, and I have to say, I know a number of people now who are HIV positive, and some have full-blown AIDS, and they're fine, they're living their lives and as healthy as anybody else, and carrying on with what it is that they need to do, and all their dreams and hopes and ambitions and fulfillment and so on and so forth. But 63 million people have died so far, so it's worth us thinking about it. It's worth us thinking about people in our lives and in our stories and in our background, and people that we've come into contact with, we've been friends with, or we've looked after, who passed on as a result of it. It's worth us just stopping for a moment and thinking about these people, because 63 million is not a small number of people. I think in the last year or so, last 5 years or so, obviously the mortality rate for having AIDS has dropped down quite a bit, considerable amount. And if you want to find out more about that, you can check out WHO website. There's lots of information on there. Yeah, you can read it up. But we're in such a different place though in the world compared to how it was back then. And I just marvel at how science, technology, and information, studying and learning and observing, all of those things, how they've moved us forward, and we're now in a better position to know that we can actually, all of us can impact on these matters, and people who are ill with the virus, HIV virus, and having a full-blown AIDS can lead normal everyday lives. I think that's a great thing. Yeah, so it's the evening. I'm in my lodgings. This isn't where I normally am. And I thought, well, before I pick a few things up and try and do this, that, or the other, I just want to do this video. It being World AIDS Day, I wanted to mark it in some way. And if you follow me on Instagram, or you can even follow me on Instagram if you want, I did another little video there as well, just talking about the journey, how far we've come, and what used to happen back in the early days. It was such a palaver, I'm telling you. Anyway, we are grateful for how things have moved on, and how it is that there are better prospects for people who are ill, and that they can live normal, healthy, happy lives, with precautions, the same as anybody. Okay, so there we go. Anyway, if you are watching this, thank you for watching. It's great to have you on my channel. I'm sorry I'm looking a bit raggedy, but never mind. I hope the message got across. And yeah, that's it. I'll sign off now. See you next time when I do my next video. And have fun. subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share. Do appreciate. I'm trying to grow it. I mean, I tell people this every single time I'm on. I am trying to grow it. So do please, yeah, let your friends know and help a girl. Help a girl. All the best. Cheers.